First story. My wife of 10 years is divorcing me and now I know she having an affair. I've been married for 10 years, and in the relationship for another 5. I thought that I have a perfect marriage, one beautiful child, good career both of us, no financial problems at all, good sex life. Now I'm getting a divorce and I don't understand why, what I did wrong, what could I do next, what the hell is happening? The story goes like this. My wife always said that I am an excellent husband. I always took care of the family. We had decent social life. Going out at a restaurant at least every 2 weeks, vacations, staying evening watching TV together. I always said to her that I love her, she said back. About a month ago, after a business trip, she even bought me as a gift a sticker saying that she loves me. 2 weeks ago I started to feel something was off. I started to see some changes in her interactions with me. At first I did not pay too much attention, but more and more signs started to show. Hiding her phone screen from me when using it. Using the phone late in the night. Using the phone chatting. As soon as she woke up and immediately going out of bed when I woke up. I started more and more to suspect what you are already probably thinking, and eventually I found proof. She had sex with another man. He is 15 years older than us. I was devastated, but I thought it was a one-night thing and we will get over it together. I started to cry one night. She heard me and I confronted her. She admitted, and quite fast. Less than 5 minutes in the conversation, she dropped the bomb. I want to divorce. It was as fast as lightning to me. I tried multiple times to make her change her mind. I said that I will do anything to make the marriage work. I suggested we at least not make a decision now, but analyze what went wrong and try to fix things. She does not want it. She says that she is unhappy for some time now. She said that for a few months she's been asking questions, trying to prove herself that things are actually good, but, in her own words, I always kept thinking that this is it. This is the highest of my life and it will be like this forever. I want more, something exciting. I've always been the perfect pupil, the perfect student, marrying my university boyfriend, having a child, having a career. Is this it? And yes, she plans to move with the other man eventually and said that she only sees him making her happy. I am devastated. I can't wrap my head around the situation. How could she been so unhappy and there were no signs? Nobody knew anything. Not her closest friends, not her parents, not me. I don't know what I did wrong, and even now she says that I was a good husband. Even now she says that she never lied when she said she loved me. Still, she does not budge and won't change her mind. I don't know how things degraded in less than a month this bad. I have no idea how to fix things, what I should have done different, what is wrong with me, and so on. I talked with other friends, and even though they agree that she should have told me sooner, all said that if she is not happy, and I get it. Happiness is extremely important, but I don't know what is she looking for, and even she can't tell me specific things. She also said that she does not want, when she is old, to tell her child that she sacrificed her life for him. I don't get this at all. We have a good life, and I don't see what she can't do or what she has to sacrifice, except dating other people. I am lost and I have lost the love of my life, and don't even know how this will affect our child. Later edits based on the clarities I picked up. I am a doctor and she works in pharmaceutical. If it matters, we are both 34 years old. I always helped with the chores. Yes, there were some she did alone. Some I did alone. But we pretty much had it split well. Slightly more on me in some cases, car, paying bills, etc. Update. The soon-to-be ex-wife and I had a discussion. I reflected a lot on what could have made her do this. We had calm discussion of inner self-reflection. This is what we both agreed. In her eyes, I started to become less of a man. I always had a rather low self-esteem. And she did not see that I was evolving as a person. At least not for the things that mattered for her. I evolved a lot in my career. I evolved as a parent, but I always remained the nice guy from university who always says sorry. I was relying too much on her to evolve, and not on my inner strength as well. And she saw this as a weakness. She was selfish and cruel and decided that instead of talking with me about these issues, she chose the easy way out. Cheating. Evolving as a couple takes two. I always have been supportive of her and she has as well. But apparently she was not supporting me in the things she thought are important for me to evolve. She knows that I am capable of evolving as a human, but decided that instead of helping me and us as a couple do this, she chose to hide her true feelings. We will be starting divorce procedures and she will move out soon. Update. I am in the anger phase now. I can't believe that she disrespected me so much as to do so many things, cheating, making plans with the AP, hiding her feelings from me, not wanting to try to make things work. We started divorce procedures. Update. A bit over 2 weeks after D-Day, wife cheated, wanted to divorce ASAP, started relation with AP even before I knew about the affair. It's gonna be a long post. I've been lurking this Reddit channel for the past 2 months, reading other people's stories, learning from them and feeling other people's emotions. I wasn't sure if I should post mine, and there is even a chance that the X and the AP may actually read this, but maybe it will help others as well. There is another thread I started not long after I found out, while I was still confused, on our marriage, which got picked up by another channel and actually made fun because of different reasons. But let me write things here as well. It helps me to externalize my feelings when writing. Me, 34 am, and my wife, 34F, have been married for 10 years and in a relationship for another 5. I always thought that we have a good relation, and while it indeed became a bit monotonous, I considered it a sign of stability and maturity, with no dramas, no conflicts and no real problems. We both earn significantly over the average income, have a great apartment in a great neighborhood, no financial struggles whatsoever. We were going on holidays, trying to go out at least once every 2 weeks. I always supported my wife in her career, helped with the household, took care of our child. We have a child together, helped with cooking, said I love her and she said back. She always said that I am a great husband and a great father. About 3 months ago, after returning from a business trip, she bought me a gift with a message saying that she loves me. She was having regular business trips for the past 8 or 9 months, about a week every month and a half, but that was not unusual for her job. Fast forward 2 months ago, when I started to see some strange behaviors after her last business trip. Something was off. At first I thought that it is all in my head, but there were more and more signs. Hiding her phone screen from me when using it, using the phone late in the night, using the phone chatting, as soon as she woke up and immediately going out of bed when I woke up. I could not take it anymore, and after a few days like this I found proof. She had sex with another man in the last business trip she went. It was her manager, also married and 13 years older than us. In my initial post I said that the age difference is 15 years, since that is what I knew at the time, and who lives in another country. I was devastated, but I thought to myself, it was a stupid mistake. We love each other, we can work things out. So, I confronted her. Yes, I was crying. And this is when things went from bad to the worst. Yes, I cheated on you. I've been asking questions about us and I am unhappy. I love the other guy and I want a divorce. I want something new, different, exciting, all in the first 5 minutes of our discussion. I was devastated. Bullet after bullet aimed straight at my heart. I could not comprehend what was actually happening. I could not understand how things went downhill so fast and so much that not only was she saying all those things, she did not even want to try to solve our problems. She did not want to try anything to make things work or to try to save the marriage. She actually started a new relationship with the AF even before I confronted her, and they had already discussed plans. For the next 2 or 3 days I pushed and insisted on talking, me trying to make a sense of things. I heard many things from her, Like she's saying things among the lines of I always kept thinking that this is it. This is the highest of my life and it will be like this forever. I want more, something exciting, something new. I've always been the perfect pupil, the perfect student, marrying my university boyfriend, having a child, having a career. Is this it? To things that degraded me, like I started to see you less of a man, or staying with you means I have to settle. Comparing me to her father, saying that I should have seen signs, despite her pretending everything was okay. That it was also my fault things ended up like this, and many more. Some are partially true, most are exaggerated. I was devastated and could not wrap my head around the situation. How could she been so unhappy and there were no signs? We never discussed about such problems. She always pretended that we are okay. We had plans for the future. I supported her in her career and she encouraged me as well. Whenever I did sense that something was off, or if we did have discussions related to couple problems that other acquaintances are having, she never mentioned that we may be having some as well. I tried my best to be by her side, to encourage her and to support her. While I know I wasn't the perfect husband, and I know that there are things that I could have done differently, I always tried to compensate in the areas I was lacking with other things. But the cheating was not the end. No. Even before I had found out about the affair, she had already made plans with the AP and started a relationship with him. By the time I confronted her about the affair, which was less than 2 weeks after it happened, they had already planned to move in together, for the AP to divorce as well and move in the same country as us. They were talking for hours each day during the period we were still living together. She had other business trips planned and bought each other gifts. The thing that bothered me the most was that I wasn't even offered a chance to solve our problems, to save the family and the marriage. She stayed with me, acted like things are well up until the point that she had confirmation that her feelings for the AP were mutual. That he also wants to be with her and it wasn't just a one-night stand. At which point she tossed me away like an old rag. What followed were the worst weeks of my life. We still had to live together another month, because we needed some time to tell the child. While she was actively in a long-distance relationship with the AP, we had to split our assets, we had finalized the divorce and we had to tell our child. Now it has been 2 weeks since she moved. As for me, I am a bit better each day. I still have my ups and downs, and I have been updating this draft during my down periods, but I am better than I was 2 weeks ago, a month ago and 2 months ago. I started therapy. I started to go to the gym more frequently. I've been going 2 times a week for the past 3 or 4 years, and now I am increasing it, and I am trying to focus on my hobbies. I still find myself in a limbo state from time to time, but slowly trying to climb out of it. The worst parts is when a state of loneliness crawls over me. There are only so many friends that I can hang with. This is still new for me, and still trying to figure out a direction in the days when the child is not with me. I've read so many stories and opinions and can't wait to see where I will be in 6 months from now. Update. Why do I feel like she has one, and when will this feeling stop? I won't go into a lot of details here. There is another post here on Reddit with all the info, but, to keep it short, my ex-wife cheated on me with her boss. 13 years older. Ex-military with some PTSD. Lives in another country quite far away. Started a new relationship with him before I even knew about the affair, and once confronted, asked for divorce. Saying that I was devastated is an understatement. This happened about 3 months ago and the divorce is final for more than a month now. She moved out, but we decided that for the sake of our child, to remain in the same building complex. Transition for the child is easier if the distance between us is minimal. And for the most part we've been doing decent. Keeping busy, spending as much time with my child as possible, doing things that essentially replace one train of thought with another. Or so I thought. Yesterday has been really hard, with me having a down period which I did not have for about a month now. Things are far from the way I want them to be, and I keep thinking that she has won in all this, despite her betraying me and our family so much. In the 3 months since I found about the affair, she has already flew 3 times to see him, all on business trips, so without her spending a cent from her pocket. Has another trip planned on about a week, something that angered me since she won't be here for when our child will start school, and the AP will come to our country in October, and she was searching for accommodations for him in the same building complex as we currently live. I don't know the exact status of their relation at the moment, but judging from what I know, they are still acting as if they are in love and had been with the wrong person up until they met. They are doing stuff together, visiting locations each time she goes there. He buys her gifts and so on. And I see no repercussions for their actions at all. Her family has supported her, or at least accepted the situation quite easy. Both still work in the same company despite the ethical implications, and she is currently on vacation with our child. A vacation that was planned before all this ST show, and we should have taken all together as a family. Meanwhile, I am still having my ups and downs, still far from where I want to be. Still don't how or with whom I can rebuild a family, and the fact that I don't see my child each day is devastating, actually. One of the worst things so far, and I almost cry each time I have to send the child to her. I am actually scared for what impact the AP could have on our child. I just want to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But so far I am still seeing just darkness and the occasional match light from the activities I am doing to keep me busy. And I know what you are going to say, that I won because I left a cheater, that they are the loser since they will have to leave with another cheater. But I don't see it that way. She never cheated up until then and will probably not do it again. He is more successful than I am, has more money, treats her well, and I fail to see how I could come out on top from all this. Second story. My ex-wife left me for affairs with younger men 10 years ago. Now she's back and harassing my new wife and daughter, saying she's my one and only. My 40M ex-wife Cass, 40F, were high school sweethearts. Classic, thought we were each other's soulmates and eloped well in college. We had our daughter Kendall, 16F, right after we graduated college. Our time married was normal, we were happy and in love. I would be excited to come home from work and see her and Kendall. And I was happy to spend the rest of my life like that. That was until we went on a vacation to Hawaii for our anniversary. She had always wanted to go and I had saved up for a trip for as a gift, and she was of course ecstatic. On the third day of our trip, I had gotten food poisoning and decided to take the day off and rest. Cass offered to stay the day with me, but I told her not to let me slow her down, to go off and enjoy the day. Have fun and I'll be here when she gets back. I switched between running to the toilet and sleeping basically all day and didn't realize that she hadn't gotten back by 12:03 or even 5 a.m. In fact, she hadn't gotten back until the next morning when she woke me up saying she needed to talk to me. She told me that she had went to the resort's bar yesterday and met two 18-year-old boys who she had spent the day with, having fun, flirting and having sex with, and she had decided that she wanted this. We had rushed into getting married right after high school, and she had never gotten the chance to explore sexually and meet other options. She said she knew she'd resent me if she went back to her normal boring life after this, and decided she wanted a divorce to life, the life she never got to during our marriage. To say I was blindsided would be an understatement. The woman who had been my whole life since I was 16 had cheated on me and decided she didn't want our marriage anymore. I asked her what about our home, our daughter, what were we going to tell our family, what about our life? She only said she still loved me but needed to follow her heart and stay here. She would let me keep the house, and she knew it would be selfish to take our daughter away from that, so she was willing to give me full custody, and she would pay child support as well as fly our daughter out to see her whenever she wanted. The divorce was finalized a year later. She was already living in Hawaii that whole time with a sea of lovers. She would visit her family and Kendall each time she was home with a new younger guy when she had to come back for court. Every time I expressed issue with her bringing random men around my daughter, the few times she would see her she would say I was threatening her and get her new guy to defend her, aka them trying to threaten me and act macho or whatever, so I just disengaged. The hardest part of the divorce was seeing my daughter be devastated that her mom was no longer around. Not only was I heartbroken and hurt myself, but I was heartbroken for my daughter. No child deserves to sob and cry all night because their mom is not around. All I heard for months was my daughter sobbing at night crying for her mommy. 2 years later I met my now wife Vanessa, 38F. I had ended up moving to the city to be closer to my family, and because the town and house brought back memories of the life I thought I had, I transferred to the city's branch of my company, and there she was. She was basically the opposite of my ex. Tall, black hair. She honestly had, and still has, a bit of a goth look, but she was beautiful and sweet. Cass was a short Latina, albeit also beautiful woman, who had the whole BTCH with a heart of gold thing going on, and when we met and never really changed. Honestly, Vanessa kind of intimidated me when we first met, and I had still had trust issues from Cass's betrayal, so we started off as friends. We got along fantastic and things just fell into place. She had also been cheated on and left by her ex for another woman, and he had essentially abandoned my now son Nick, 14M, when he was a baby. We both had trust issues, so we took it slow, then found love with each other. After 3 years I asked her to marry me. My family loves her and even admitted they love her more than they ever did Cass. She has been a fantastic stepmom to Kendall, and I officially adopted Nick a year ago, and as of 6 months ago we are expecting another baby girl. Everyone is ecstatic. The kids even surprised us by decorating the baby's room for us. They even paid for it themselves using their saved paychecks. The only thing preventing Vanessa from adopting Kendall was Cass guilt-tripping her into not asking. And even though Cass has essentially been a deadbeat for the past few years, and hasn't even invited Kendall out to visit her for 5 years, it would be breaking her heart to let another woman replace her. Speaking of Cass, neither her or her family have bothered to even reach out for the past few years. Her parents haven't done anything besides send an Old Navy gift card at Christmas and birthdays for years. The only time they messaged her over the past 10 years was to shame her for not having a quince. My daughter never felt in touch with her Spanish roots, due to her family never being around to teach it to her, so despite me and Vanessa offering to host one, she refused because she didn't feel it was important. Cass's parents messaged her calling her a sick little traitor to her culture, and that she doesn't deserve her mom or their family, if she could turn her back to her own kind. Once again they caused my baby to spend her whole birthday night crying. Recently I got a call from an unknown number and it was Cass. She called to tell me she was at the house and the new owners told her I had moved years ago, so after years, she calls me to demand why I sold our home. I asked her how she even got my number, and why she felt it was her place to be upset I sold a home she hadn't had anything to do with for years. She said it wasn't important and that she needed to meet me privately to talk. I told her I wasn't interested, and she had my number now, so anything she had to talk about she could text to me, and ended the call. In her text she explained that she had moved back to our hometown with her son. I guess she got knocked up by one of her hookups at some point. She had been dumped by her last boyfriend a year ago and was no longer able to find dates, and realized she was no longer happy in Hawaii. She was working a miserable job at the resort we ended our marriage at, and realized her time was up, and she needed to settle down. She said she had never forgotten our love, and always knew I was the one at the end of the day. That if I would have her she would move in tomorrow, or in a month, or even 16 years if that was what it took. She wanted our life and family back and to add her son to that family. And she would love to meet at a restaurant with our daughter or alone. And it was up to me. She even called me by a nickname she used to call me during our relationship. A nickname I used to love but now made me want to gag. I obviously shut that down, told her I was happily married and expecting a new baby, that would never ever get back together with her, and if my daughter wanted to rebuild their relationship that would be her decision, and I would have no part in it. Ever since she has been spam texting me, Vanessa and Kendall. She keeps telling Vanessa that she can have me back in a day, that I was her first and one and only true love, and it's a joke to think that I wouldn't take her back if we met face to face. Laughable. And her religious slur starting with B. Kids should just move out before they get hurt and clean way for Op's true family to take our rightful place in our new home. I'm starting to think she may have picked up more than just a sex addiction in Hawaii. She's texting my daughter all the things she's planning for our new family home, to ask if the Hisai and her kid are gone yet, sending her money, and sending her pictures of all the clothes she's bought her for, along with these are a lot better than the Shane the Hisai buys you, right? And this is way more than the hussy normally gives you for your allowance, right? She sends me similar messages. We have laughed at the messages, then blocked her number, and she'll make new ones over and over again. I thankfully haven't gotten anything from her family, but I know she's staying with them, so I have my guard up. I can tell this is starting to get to my wife and daughter. Kendall has expressed that she's seen Vanessa crying a lot, which is worried as she's a high-risk pregnancy due to an autoimmune condition, and that she herself is nervous walking home from work as her mom keeps offering to pick her up often an hour or two before her shift ends, despite her not telling her work schedule, and she's worried she's been stalking her. I shut her down the first time, went out of my way to not entertain her or give her any ideas, and block her after every message before she gets new numbers somehow to harass us more. The only person who has not blocked her is our daughter. I honestly think she may have picked up a certain habit while living in Hawaii. Her area is known to have a high drug rate, and she dated a lot of young guys who would have access to that kind of stuff. I think that will be the next step, but I want to clear it with my daughter first. She's still her mother at the end of the day. I also know her family would probably contact us on her behalf. She's their golden girl who they would do anything for, unfortunately. She keeps making new numbers every time we block her. She has not threatened us, but she's made comments about our routines that she wouldn't, and shouldn't, know unless she was following us. My wife has her demons and is unfortunately very fragile and stressed easily, especially right now. I've reassured her, and she says she's okay, but I know she's really not. She's more so stressed for our daughter's safety. I have reassuring her the best I can. She has a lot of her own demons that are causing her to stress to this level. Not so much that I may leave her, but more that she's worried she will try to take our daughter. I'm going to change all our numbers tomorrow as well as talk to my daughter. I'm also gonna try and figure out who gave her our numbers. We are all stressed to the max,